Welcome to another Field of Glory 2 battle. This is part of the Tiny Tourney hosted by Carvon on the Slytherin forums. I have the Indians Hindu North Army for this tournament. This time around I'm facing Ptolemaic 166. So I believe the late Ptolemaic army is more of a Roman army with some Hellenistic elements. Let's see if that's right. That's wrong. So we're still in more or less classic Hellenistic territory. Pike phalanxes of various sorts, warbands, imitation legionaries for mediums, studiophoroi, and Thracians. Good light infantry options. Almost no light cavalry. For actual non-light cavalry, mostly the light spear swords, but also lancers, a single unit of elephants available as well. For a field, we have a big open field with a minor slope to fight over here. And if we can gain it, a slope here. So we'll try to dominate this hill with our elephants and 2 units of Indian archers. Indian close fighters with their swords into the wood. They can fight through the forest and hopefully seize this high ground. If not, they can fight studiophoroi on even terms if both are disordered. Then we have lancers if we want them. The upside of the lancers is that if they're charged by pikemen, they can bounce and fall back unlike elephants, but they're also more vulnerable to enemy cavalry. Still, they are cheap, which is a great virtue. We'll support them with their own light horse to be very annoying. And with 200 points left, the question is, what do we want more of? Archers, infantry, or elephants? Let's consider. We're going to have to find a way to win by numbers. I think I do want more archers. And light javs to contest this area. 48 points remaining. I could take close fighters. I could take more cavalry. I think I need more melee troops in general. I might ditch one of these Indian lancers to grab superior Indian lancers. Close fighters to reinforce the center. 16 points, that seems like far too many to leave over. Now what are we at? 60? That means we can get another elephant. Probably worth it. Very good. And we will want to general up on the elephants, both for extra shock value and so they don't break and infect the entire army with panic. Good enough. So we'll attempt to seize this and this, see which of them we can take and fight it out from there, and if we have extreme cavalry superiority, attempt some kind of envelopment. Next turn. What have we got? Pretty small, but hard hitting. So we'll need to use the elephants to counter the Zistophoroi, and our archers to counter the skirmishers, the lancers to zone of control lock the heavies, and then these close fighters to try to wrap around. And to that end, I might want to try to keep my close fighters out of sight. So we could at least make it possible that he won't notice them. And these elephants could also prove useful against the squishier non-phalanx infantry on his right. I suppose there's no harm in revealing a unit of light javelins. There we go. Next turn. Splitting the army. Interesting. How are we going to deal with that? This unit could either threaten to push right or wrap around the heavies. In the meantime, get our swordsmen all lined up nice in the forest. And elephants to hopefully fight one of these units, but worst case scenario, they can slam into the Durios and hope for a disrupt due to being generaled up. Alright. Next turn, see how badly we suffer from his skirmisher fire. The cavalry, that's fine. I mean, if they disrupt, we'll just pull them out. Okay. So the elephants will head towards the lancers just to head them off. Good. Give them one more. In fact, I wonder if we could auto-break them. No, doesn't seem likely. Harass the slingers instead. Okay. Then, elephants forward. Swordsmen to a flanking position. And javelin men can begin. I wonder. No. Encouraging him to move. And lock them in. Lock them in. And lock them in. So we need to try to defeat this wing and just pin the phalanx for as long as possible. Maybe try to disrupt the Durios, or at least make him think they can disrupt. Probably more important. Alright. Might just have these elephants turn around and go back, to be honest. I don't think he's going to try to fight me with them. On the other hand, if flanking movement, we can shoot up pretty badly at this rate. Next turn. Should just bounce that. Yep. Well, unfortunately, we need to commit our elephants to this now. lock them. Disruption, perfect. The question then becomes, do we even want to engage with the elephants? Because they'll pursue past, or do we want the elephants to move here to zone lock these two units? And then move up with the swordsmen. I think that's probably the better call. Good. Some of our troops here are going to end up getting caught and suffering, but that is what it is. Next turn, let's see what the reaction is. Bounce. Held firm, too bad. Bounce again. It's actually fine because the veterans are still not in a position to do anything about it. Good. They're fleeing. So I wonder if I shouldn't refocus my energies. Well, some easy shots to the back like this are too much to ignore, though. Might as well. Okay. In the meantime, do we frag them? No. Do we care? Not really. It's too good to not just open up that flank. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Need to cover that flank. Which means things are probably about to get, unfortunately, bloody for our center here. Here's what I'll do. The veterans are locked. If the regular pike phalanx charge their archers and pushes them back, we'll hit them in the flank with our close fighters. And I suppose while we're at it, we might as well pour some arrows in. This could be tough. We really need to wrap this up quickly to get around. And I'm regretting having all these troops over here, although the archers couldn't have been that helpful here anyway. Next turn. Alright, he's gone for it. Disrupt to be expected, but we've got the flank set up now. If we wanted to, we could use the lancers for the flank attack now. Let's think about that. Keep them pinned, that's fine. Okay, let's try to save our elephants here. Good. Do we frag them? No. Too bad. Alright, and get back to hitting these units. It's good that the elephants moved because they were slightly disordering our lancers. What we could do is that. Fragged. Since they're fragged, we'll pin the veteran phalanx with our infantry. And what? I could catch them in the flank, although they'll probably fall back after I could also pour some arrows in. I'm trying to decide if these units should pour arrows in before the charge or turn around and start trying to deal this situation. I think they need to turn around. We're going to ignore these lights to try to set up a flank here. Or at least to make them square up so they can't just charge and overrun my close fighters. I'm going to order these archers back to the center to help deal with the lights because they're going to shred these guys. Let's block the fallback path, or at least just be annoying. Good, but it'll take a little bit of time to break them because they are superior. In the meantime, what do I do with these archers? I can start shooting at the phalanx, but I don't think that'll do much good. What I might want to do is start trying to work around this flank, but I already have the close fighters there. So I guess I'll just shoot at the phalanx and try to weaken their POAs, because they lose a POA for, you know, every few casualties. Alright, onward. Next turn. Good, we've stopped pursuing, that's perfect. We'll turn around and slam downhill into the impact swords. They've squared up, that's perfect. We'll just keep pressing them. Good. Crashing again. Ooh. Ooh. That's unfortunate. Very bad luck. Oh well. The main point is that the Zistophodoi don't intervene in the main battle, and so far that is the case. Let's auto-break these Cretan archers. Oh, come on. I see how it is. Alright, I guess we'll have to, well, let's get into place first. And threaten the flank. Blocking the phalanx. Suppose I should have thought of that. No big deal. We'll shift these archers that way. We'll start focus firing these phalanx once the lights are out of the way. If he unsquares, we'll just turn these archers back around. Next turn. Do they charge or, yep, change facing to delay. Makes sense. Bit of overkill, but it's quite alright. And delay the Lancers again. Here, simply enough, we'll charge downhill. Wait one turn. If he gets a rally, you can flank charge and break them. Concentrate on the veterans. Held firm. So, with all those casualties, instead of deep pike plus 100, it's plus 55. But it matters that much, they're general top, so we'd have to inflict a lot more casualties to make a difference. Okay, that hopefully should do it. Next turn. Ooh, a rally. 2 rallies. Okay, so it's on then. Continue that bounce. $260 men, they'll rout at, what, 244-ish? Well, I don't think there's much need to kill 16 of those men, because our lancers should hopefully take care of things. Keep that lock going. General up on the infantry, we might need it. These are still in square, which either concentrate fire on them or ignore them. Considering, let's see, how close are these guys? Might be time to start concentrating fire on these lancers. With our own lancers moving to the rescue. Not that they can really fight these head on, but they could threaten a flank charge. Just work on some attrition with this unit. There's no reason not to, really. Does he have any other units that could rally? Just the Thracians. If the Thracians rally, it's on. If they don't, it's a win, as is. And it looks like we have reached the end. Here we go. So what happened? I think ultimately pretty straightforward. One, it's hard to flank with cavalry when you have elephants in the way that you have to go all the way around. This eventually would have been damaging if this engagement wasn't already over. Two, a lesson I learned very painfully in early Middle Ages Division A this season. These are Indian Lancers, but they're functionally identical to Bedouin Lancers, 36-point average protected Lancers. They can lock in infantry that's not well supported by missile troops, and if you're fighting against the Indians, it's tough to have missile troops survive. So these 72 or 96-point units of pikemen could be locked in by 36-point units, enabling me not to defeat these units because they're so tough anyway, but to defeat their support troops and threaten their flanks and force them to square up and get the rout percent. And eventually I would win this kind of engagement. It would just take a while. In early Middle Ages, I had a superior heavy weapon armed Huscarls, 72 points, just like these average phalanxes, getting zone of control locked by similar units to similar effect. So, even after so many years playing this game and the previous games in the series, I can learn new things. And yeah, this was a new and not very fun thing to learn, but at least I got to use it this time. It doesn't feel very honorable. And my opponent Foyle is a little bit newer to the game, and he probably hadn't encountered this admittedly kind of obnoxious strategy before. But luckily for him, just like for me, it's a memorable lesson that you don't tend to forget. So you'll be better prepared for it next time, just like I was. So, a good game. There's a victory in what I called the tiny tourney earlier, but the Little Wars tourney. We'll see how the rest of the matches turn out. And good luck to Foyle in the rest of his.